Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Books and Betches, not to be confused with Books and
Betches.
I'm Kristen, and with me I have
Erica.
At first, that sounded like when you're like a Catholic church.
Yeah.
And it's like that weird. Yeah. Oh, and Maria. Hi.
This is a book podcast. Here, I never know what to say after that. I'm like, okay.
Hi.
You
We
said
talk
your
about
name.
books. We are books and
we
Betches.
talk about books. That's boring. This is a book podcast. We talk about books. We also
So
swear.
that wasn't boring.
We also swear, we spoil, and we talk about sex. And we are going to spoil this book entirely.
Yeah, it's a very fast book.
That we're talking about, and it is
Tender is the Flesh.
Written by
Augustina Bazterrica. I think it's Bazterrica.
do you think that's how it's
I hope so, because I said it that way.
okay? Tender is the flesh.
You know, Bazterrica, like in Spanish, right? Almost sounds like hysterica, like hysteric. Like
Yeah.
and that's kind of funny.
That is funny. Especially listen, if you're listening right now, have you read this fucking book? Talk to the fucking whatever you're listening to this on. This is Dora right now. Have you read this book?
Jesus Christ.
I haven't heard anything back, but dude, holy shit, this book. What?
Have you read this book?
You know what I was about to say before you said that? I was going to say, like, anybody who speaks a romance language and they say a name, like, automatically the name sounds way cooler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No. Like,
Augustina Bazterrica sounds
Like,
terrible.
Yeah.
But when Maria says it,
Agustina Bazterrica.
it sounds like he's a sex god.
Was it she?
Doesn't matter.
Wait, it's a woman who wrote this?
Agustina, yeah. Well,
No.
Again, I don't
Oh,
know
I
if
thought
they
you said
identify
O.
otherwise. No, Agustina. It's a female.
We
God,
last time we
goddess,
recorded
doesn't
this,
matter.
we said a man.
No, I always said female.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
A woman wrote this book.
A woman wrote this. This is a
Interesting.
translated work, by the way. This is originally written in Spanish.
Which
Okay.
is why it was a little jaunty, to be honest.
If you've read this book, you know this shit's fucking wild. First of all, it popped up for me on Scribd. Did it pop up for? Is that how you heard about this?
No. I follow Fictional Fates. He's a booktuber on YouTube. And so I follow his Goodreads, and he posted a random review of this. So I don't know what I just read, and so I was like, oh, let me look at what this is. Why is Tender as a Flesh? You know, that's a weird title. So I went to go to look at it, and when I read the synopsis, I was like, oh, this is right up my alley.
Yeah, I really want to get into it, but first,
So then I said, girls, we have to read this.
Tender is the Flesh. I'm gonna make. I mean, this is the craziest book I've ever read. The Hike was up there, but this is definitely number one. It's
Really?
fucked
You
up.
don't think this is crazy? This is more crazy than The Hike?
Yeah. Let's talk about genre. I mentioned this. We
It's
recorded.
horror, right?
We recorded this episode before, and I got deleted. I mentioned the genre. I've created my own genre specifically for this book. Do you remember?
No.
I called it Gorn
Oh.
because it's gore porn.
Yeah. I
If
think
you
you should
like-
just kept it as gore porn.
If you like Gorn sounds cool as fuck.
I don't like Gorn.
It sounds like
Gorn. It sounds cool.
It sounds
see?
like a metal band.
Joel, Fictional Fates, had said, I can't
The Gorny
contain
Gorns.
I can't contain my thoughts right now, but a fuller review to come. That's what he said. That's what I got.
That hooked you.
Books and Lala rated this 4 stars.
Oh gosh, I love her.
Gorn.
Here's, if you really like gore, shock value, just fucked up shit.
Something that makes you think. Because it makes you think, not the way you know.
It's dystopian.
It's quite in your face.
Yeah.
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 It's dystopian. Okay, before we get too into this, we've got to do a 60 seconds.
Oh,
Maria,
I got this.
you are absolutely you are a designated cannibal expert.
Uh-huh.
Oh, trigger warning.
The
Cannibalism.
I don't even know
If the gore porn didn't get you, here's a trigger warning.
Trigger warning, cannibalism,
Cannibalism.
mutation.
Also animal abuse.
Animal rape.
Animal abuse. We're going to talk about it.
If you're sensitive to literally anything, this is
not the book for you.
It's rough.
But also, if let's say if you're triggered by the meat industry,
Yes.
you know, we're
Yeah.
not going to talk about what we are.
If you're a vegan, sign off.
If you are a part of
Yeah.
PETA, sign off.
If you're new here, welcome. We do this thing on this podcast where we attempt to explain the entire plot summary in 60 seconds or less. Right now, Maria is going to do Tender is the Flesh. You're going to tell us all about it in 60 seconds or less. Let me get the timer. All right, ready?
Yeah.
Here we go. 3, 2.
So the book follows this man named Marcos. He works for a power plant. We are in a dystopian world where all the meat went bad. A virus went through the meat that started killing people. So what they all did, they all went vegan or sort of vegetarian for a little while. But then they figured, no, we still have to have meat in some form. So then the world decides to start farming humans, creating humans just to have them be eaten. So the world becomes cannibalistic. Marcos, his wife, has left him. So he's sort of in like a depressive state. He had a kid that died at a very young age. Seconds. And so we follow him through his job working for this power plant, or well, not power plant, but this meat plant of humans. And
meat plant.
It's pretty gorish. That's kind of it. And then one of the owners gifts him a female meat.
15 seconds.
And so at one point he kind of doesn't want to kill her. So then he just starts like screwing her. They have a baby and that's the end.
No.
And then a bunch of shit.
That is absolutely not the end, but I like your enthusiasm.
I can't finish it.
Time.
I couldn't finish. Well, now I can say it. So in the midst of like where he had her on his land, he didn't want to kill her. So for some reason he started like getting attached to her, started like having sex with her. She ended up getting pregnant, and then he calls his wife when the actual like pregnancy's like when labor's happening. He goes to his wife and says, "Honey, come home real quick." And she's like, "What's going on?" Comes home, figures out he's been screwing basically meat. Special meat, as they call it. And she's like, "What the hell are you doing? You could get killed for this. Like, what are you doing?" She helps deliver the baby, and he's like, "It's our baby." And she's like, "Oh." So then he goes and then kills the special meat he had that had his baby. And she's like, "What did you do that for? We could have had more." Oh. And that's the actual end of the book.
End, yeah.
Can we all agree that this is a direct reference and statement about the meat industry?
Yes. It couldn't be more shoved down our throat.
Yeah. Basically, this entire book is taking the meat industry and saying, what if they were humans?
And humanizing the actual process, being like, look at how we see pigs and cows and chickens as nothing but meat to us, right? But they are living things that feel stuff, and for them to just get slaughtered for us is trash.
And as our resident cannibalist,
cannibal,
I'm
not a cannibal.
Technically, I'm an auto cannibal.
What is that?
I like bite the skin and I eat my skin around my nails.
I do that too. I do that often.
That's auto cannibalism.
I do not do that.
Yeah, you do.
Or like
if I bit my lip,
like I peel the skin off my lip and eat it.
Well, that's like the whole.
Well, I don't like peel it like this and go.
Like would you
not like gold member?
No, but I'm like biting it off.
Just like that's a good one.
Ew.
That's literally in gold member.
I know.
But no, I bite the skin around my nails. I eat it. I like.
Would you eat your placenta?
Yes.
I think we've talked about this.
Yes.
Because I mentioned Hannibal.
And that would be auto cannibalism.
Did we decide if that was cannibalism?
It's auto cannibalism. It is.
It's an automatic process. Is that what I mean?
No, it's like autoimmune. Like autoimmune. Like it's self.
Okay. Self cannibalism.
So cannibalism is just eating another person. Doesn't matter if it's their skin or their organs or anything, right?
Cannibalism is eating another human being.
Thank you for
in any capacity.
She just defined cannibalism. Only on Books and Betches will you define cannibalism.
Can we just say that it wasn't me? Usually I would.
Here's the thing, Maria. Here's why
don't pinpoint me.
Here's why
the real question is would you
We've answered this before. If I was in a near death situation, would you eat somebody? Probably if I had no other way out.
Here's the thing, Maria. This is why we come to you for this stuff. When you first mentioned this book, you said, this is how you sent it to us. You sent us a picture of the book and you said, this is a really interesting synopsis.
Yeah.
That's how you set it up. I first started reading it and within the second line, it said something about humans eating other humans.
Yeah.
And immediately, she's getting excited. And immediately, I was like, this sounds like it's up Maria's alley. She's like, what? Hannibal is one of her national heroes.
National hero.
She looks up to Hannibal like
I look up to his prim and proper like
manners. I said. Fucking has been known to say in the past that he, and I quote, this is not my quote, this is Maria's quote, makes cannibalism look good. I believe was something that came out of Maria's mouth.
Word for word.
I mean, he has great taste in wine.
Sure.
A great Chianti.
Sure. But it's probably just human blood.
Some fava beans.
This is fucked.
I'm sorry.
So when Maria...
We're in tears over here.
So when Maria...
Studio Royal Fox.
Sent this book over, I wasn't shocked. Were you?
No.
I mean, you shouldn't have.
I wasn't. Started reading the book.
I mean, I didn't know it was going to be that.
It's fucked. Here's the thing.
No, I did. The synopsis said it.
Here's what bothers me about this entire situation.
Right.
Maria had read the book. I didn't know if Erica was reading or not. Maria had read the book. I heard nothing about it. There was no like it was good, it was bad, it was this, it was nothing.
Yeah, I remember.
I start reading it and I start to think, am I reading the wrong fucking book? Am I being set up? Am I punked? Because
Ashton Kutcher, where you
don't
at?
play this off like it's not a big deal. I mean, immediately someone's head gets chopped off, and
What did
somebody
you
is
think
fucking.
Tender is the flesh was about?
I mean, did
First
you
of all,
read
it
the
sounds-
synopsis when I sent it to you through Goodreads?
Either way, you didn't give me a
Yeah, but
quick-
I sent you both the synopsis.
but you didn't say, hey, just so you know, it's pretty fucked up. That's it.
The
I'm not asking for a trigger
Can
warning.
I read you
I'm
the
asking
synopsis?
for,
Hey, it's
hey,
fucked up.
It's a little fucked up. So I started to think there was something maybe wrong with me.
I mean,
But no, you're the fucked up one in this scenario, and it took a lot for me to come to this conclusion. I had to do a lot of soul searching. I questioned maybe
best
going to
friend
therapy.
status is being revoked today.
Yeah, right.
No, I love you too much.
I love you
I
too.
can't.
Here's the thing.
Words have been said.
And I want to get into this book because I think it's important that what happened to me doesn't happen to our listeners.
All right, can I read the synopsis real quick? Okay.
It's not as bad as how bad.
Yes, it fucking is. Listen.
Maybe I didn't read the whole thing.
His wife has left him. His father is sinking into dementia, and Marcos tries not to think too hard about how he makes a living. After all, it happens so quickly. First, it was reported that an infectious virus has made all animal meat poisonous to humans. Yeah. Then government initiated the transition. Now eating human meat, special meat, is legal. Marcos tries to stick to the numbers, consignments, and processing. Then one day he's given a gift, a live specimen of the finest quality. Though he's aware that any form of personal contact is forbidden on pain of death, little by little he starts to treat her like a human being, and soon he becomes tortured by what has been lost and what might still be saved.
And you know that's not bad.
Did you miss the line that said like human meat, special meat?
Okay, I didn't know we were gonna go inside of this
The plant?
factory.
Yeah, I'm not saying that like I didn't know that.
That didn't sound bad at all.
It didn't. I was just as surprised as you were.
But you
the
didn't-
special meat's in there.
You didn't. But here's the thing. This book, guys, I really need everybody to listen to me. This book, you're going into the factory. Like, if you want to know exactly what's happening, you're seeing humans being hung from the ceiling. And I cannot stress this enough. If you're sensitive, please turn it off. You're seeing humans hung by their fucking ankles, being swiped around, and then their throats sliced. I mean, honestly,
Which is exactly what happens.
happened
in
to
the
me?
meat
what
market.
happens to pigs and chickens. And
But obviously humanizing it is a lot.
Right.
But on top of all of that, it's just like, I don't know.
It's fucking hard.
He also
yes.
fucks the girl.
Yeah, bestiality is a thing in this world, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's a real issue. I keep hearing about it in the States often.
I mean, come on.
So
It's
here,
concerning.
very concerning. Listen, I offered this book up, number one, because you said I'm sick of the romances. Can we have something that's not romance?
You're right.
I said fine. And then this one hates YA.
You're right.
So I have to find something that's adult, short, and not romance.
You did it.
You're welcome.
So I want to talk about...
I have no qualms with the selection of this book.
Good.
Me neither.
At all.
No, I
seem like
thought
it.
it was dope. I
But
just wish
doesn't
I
seem like
had
it.
a fair warning.
I didn't have a
But-
warning. I walked in there too.
I am extremely mortified that somebody wrote this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of something I wanted to talk about because it's a lot, and I'm happy.
Like, I
somebody
understand it's like a hyperbole, like whatever, you know what I mean? Whatever. It's still just a lot to put pen to paper and say that shit.
Well, maybe that's why it's such a short book. It's only 209 pages.
But I
Imagine
do-
having to
yeah.
do more than that.
I
Yeah.
wonder what it was like. Is it as intense in Spanish?
I
Is it-
kind of want to read it in Spanish to see how the wording would be.
I'm very curious how it's worded for sure. But I wanted to talk about I know this isn't real, obviously, but I want to put this into a real world perspective because I
Okay.
think it's fun. The idea that if this actually happened in real life, say we ran out of meat, there was a virus.
I don't think it would happen.
Nope, I don't either. But I do think. I think we would try to go vegetarian, obviously. I don't think it would work it's not sustainable. Not because we need meat. Humans, that's a fucking lie.
It's a lie.
And you can come for me. I don't care. Humans don't need meat to live or survive. They don't. What I think would happen is our environment, it's a catch-22, right? Because the meat industry is actually probably the worst thing for our environment next to like the clothing industry. Yep. But the meat industry is up there as one of the worst possible things for our environment.
It's causing cancer.
It's absolutely fucking horrible. But at the same time, if like vegetarian lifestyle for every single human on earth just isn't sustainable either.
It's not.
And it would turn into another meat industry problem. That would be
which is
really
what
bad.
This book did.
So I think it's very fascinating that if we were put in this position where all of the animals were completely wiped off the earth, and like what would we do? What would we do?
This is why Thanos is the best villain.
I totally agree.
We're overpopulated.
I honestly think what we would do is we would just switch to a vegetarian and we would find a way.
That, or it goes into a higher regulated industry, which is hard because they own the world, really. Like them and pharmaceuticals, like, you know, that's like they run everything.
Yeah.
So it would be hard to regulate it, but I feel like that's the next like mid-tier step.
Yeah. Is
to find a way to get these meat industries to be more ethical.
I was a vegetarian for a year, and it was probably one of the better years health-wise of my life.
Really?
Yeah, honestly, I hiked a mountain every single week. This was when I was at school. I was living in Keene, New Hampshire.
You're also young.
Yeah, I mean, I was like...
you're young now, but...
Younger. I was like 20 minutes from a pretty notable mountain. Mount Monadnock, the second most hiked mountain in the world.
I hiked it. Really?
Next to Mount Fuji. Yep.
I hiked it.
I mean, I hiked it
multiple times.
Everybody's hiked Mount Monadnock.
I'm sorry.
I used to go on school field trips there.
It was my first ever hike.
That's fucking awesome.
I hiked it in training shoes.
Yeah, so I mean, best shape I had been in a long time. So I do think that a vegetarian lifestyle is obviously obtainable.
I was vegetarian for like 2 months.
But what was the reason they decided in this book that they needed meat? Was it just for like protein purposes?
So yeah, it's like we have the issue now.
Yeah.
With people who say when they're vegan or vegetarian, they say, no, we can't live that life. You need protein.
Very extreme to turn to humans.
Also, there's plant proteins. There's
tons of ways, but to just be like who is the one person that was like, fuck it, let's eat people?
So that's how one from what I remember in the book, it's like it was gradual. They tried to be vegetarian and vegan and stuff, and then slowly it was sort of integrated. It's like, but what if we create them? What if we just farm if they don't have a name? That's a big thing on this here. When they have a name,
they call them the heads, right?
They're called heads. Like most the humans that are farmed for food are called heads. But there are times like in let's say your family member dies, they do this thing where they put them in a clear casket and they cremate them. And you have to watch them get cremated because otherwise the body could get stolen by scavengers who are like the lowest of the low on the system and stuff, and they steal that to eat it. Ooh. So even outside of the plant, any of like the damaged heads, the scavengers get it. And the way that the scavengers are described in the book is like scary. It feels like zombie like, where they don't give a fuck. They just like rip into these humans.
Yeah.
It's scary.
As unrealistic
sorry.
As unrealistic as the plot is, what I found realistic was, I don't know if you remember the scene where there was like they were in the plant and they had interns that were working in the plants, and they're going around and kind of learning how everything works. But I thought
no, they were applicants.
Yeah, applicants.
They were trying to get a job in the plant.
Yeah.
And what they normally do is they have them go around the whole plant and show them everything to see if they can handle inside this plant.
I think that was the part where I was like, holy shit.
That thing, as brutal as that part is, because it really goes into deep detail on the entire process of the food and the heads and stuff. I think that's my favorite part of the book.
Same, because probably not the same reasons you are, you sicko.
No,
I'm just kidding. I don't know if you agree, but was it because of how they reacted?
Yeah.
I thought it was very interesting how one of the kids was like so fascinated and running up to the window.
The murder one.
Yeah, he was like running up to the window and he's like, oh, can I electrocute her? Yeah. Can I do that? Yeah. Like he was like fascinated by it.
And that's where I think
that's realistic.
This came from. Is that this world had to now start killing humans, and the ones who decided that are the sociopaths who want to kill humans.
I mean, look how quickly they just didn't give a fuck about other humans. I just thought that was
like, is it somebody like Jeffrey Bezos or like what? I don't even know, like Elon Musk that's like gonna like do that? Like, is that the person that's like, we're gonna kill humans now?
It has to be somebody like that.
It would come from a boardroom of high, powerful people.
Like, it has to be somebody like that.
Yeah. Who like kickstarts it.
Listen, we figured out a way.
Yeah.
And there's also like a black market of meat as well.
That was super interesting
where,
too.
like the thing where people's bodies get stolen. I
think what happens here is like then you start killing people for their meat,
and that's where they become.
But that's illegal.
That's the illegal part.
But what I think doesn't compute is that like there's really, really hungry people here. There are people that are starving in America here. Yep. There are cows that free roam that do not get slaughtered by random people who are hungry. So like, I don't know if that would actually happen.
Well, in this you know case what I mean? Here, it's like I don't think they're talking about scavengers on that level all the time. I think outside of the plant specifically, there are a group of scavengers that do that. Outside of it, there's a black market for the meat.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a black market for meat now. I mean, think about endangered species. I mean, think about trophy hunting with like giraffes and shit. And like, I guarantee there's a black market where somebody can buy fucking lion meat.
I hate it.
It's horrible, but that's the play, I think, on the book versus this way of society.
Can we talk a little bit about cannibals in the United States?
So this is exactly where I was about to go with this.
I am not a cannibal.
No, I was literally, Erica, I was like looking at you because I was just going to bring this in because I think we have to talk about this.
Okay. I know there's cannibals in like different cultures.
Yeah.
Like indigenous, like.
Yeah. If you came here for the book, that's
basically the story.
That's the story.
I feel like the book itself is not. The story is not as important as the overall theme and the topics it's covering.
Yeah. So now we're going to dive into cannibalism. So get ready for that.
My favorite part.
Erica has been sending me TikTok upon TikTok about...
Why am I not getting these?
Because
I'm trolling her.
Listen.
Oh, I'm actually interested.
I want to start this by saying I absolutely do not deny that there are cannibals and groups of cannibals.
Cannibalistic? Is that what you're trying to say?
I guess. Like, I don't deny that.
Frequent the United States.
I do not deny that.
This is the national park thing?
Yeah.
Erica's obsessed with sending me these videos that hundreds of thousands of people go missing every year.
I've been seeing these where it's like
on TikTok,
if you're near the Adirondacks.
I fucking hate TikTok.
Is the Adirondacks?
That's in New York.
Adirondacks,
no,
anywhere.
But doesn't that go far?
Well, yeah, but
doesn't it go all the way down?
Listen.
No, that's the Appalachian.
That's the one. It was an A. I almost had it.
Appalachian.
The Appalachian one.
The Appalachian people,
that near around there, if you ever hear your name get called or if you hear noises, just say, just keep walking.
Yeah.
Because
so
you're going to get killed.
Why isn't anybody on the Appalachian Trail just
because they gentrified it.
Oh, boy.
The cannibals live in the uncharted and unorganized territory of national parks. They've congregated and they hunt people. And they kill them and they eat them.
I think it's
and there's tons of people that go missing.
I think it's way less amount of cannibals out there than you think. I think that you have this idea that there's groups of cannibals everywhere just fucking chilling in these mountains and just eating people, but that is absolutely 100% not the fucking case.
They're doing it.
No.
They're doing it.
How are they
They're doing it. Kristen thinks that like there's all these it's either cannibals or it's Wendigos or like
it's
big
wild animals. If you're going into the national parks, there are grizzly bears, there are regular bears that have cubs, there are mountain lions, there are See, this is why I don't take her seriously.
There's fucking Sasquatches.
There are animals that kill tons and thousands of people.
Are only so many in the world that people have seen, but nobody believes.
Erica's trying to tell me that everybody that goes missing in a national park got eaten by another human.
Tell me about the melon heads.
Oh shit!
Who are the
Do you know
melon
about
heads?
the melon heads? I wasn't gonna bring this up because I didn't want Erica to get all obsessed with the melon heads. Look, she's already going to the Google machine.
Let Kristen tell you first.
The melon heads are near me, Connecticut.
They're here.
So the story is that there was an insane asylum that burnt down many moons ago, and they did not account for all of the people that were in the insane asylum. They could not find they couldn't find a group of them.
Okay.
The story and the legend is that these group of people went into the woods and lived there, and then they started like mating with each other, and then the brothers and sisters started fucking, and then they like had their own group. And since it was incest, they had misformed heads. They were known as the melon heads.
That.
And the story is that if you were to go into these woods, they would literally eat you.
Yeah.
Now, I personally, obviously, if you couldn't tell, I don't believe this shit.
I believe it.
A friend of mine, her mom had like
that one.
She like witnessed something that like they drove their car down and they like parked in this area and they like witnessed like somebody out in the woods like yelling for them who they say had a melon shaped head.
Yep.
So the melon heads, I think it's bullshit. Just like I think your fucking national park. I can't wait to go be my dream
park ranger
is that when I retire, I'm going to go become a park ranger and
gonna
watch
get
me
eaten.
learn about all this.
She will be eaten.
Watch
by
they
a mountain
give you,
lion.
Watch they give you a fucking dossier about like all of the things that are in
gonna
the fucking
open
woods,
it.
and
They're
they're
gonna
like,
open
listen,
it.
If they
this
don't
is
know
the
about it,
secret
though,
It's
doc.
gonna be like the FBI to
Yeah.
Men in Black
saying,
shit.
But you said that nobody knows about it. So why wouldn't
gonna
this
be-
be?
No, they
Men in
know
Black.
about it.
So why
the
isn't
government
it-
knows about everything?
What's the point of hiding?
We're overpopulated. They don't give a shit about random civilians
Dude, what is the point of hiding tribes that are like? Why not
because
tell?
they're cannibals.
Why not tell the world about it? Why not go out there and stop them? Why not do?
Because they don't want to deal with
Listen,
it.
why not live their
that's not a good
their
enough excuse.
colonizer ways and just take their land like they usually do?
Maria, don't bring this down.
Or they just don't want to deal
You're
with
asking
it.
that question, but that's what honestly what it is.
I
That's
think
what
they
that's
don't
what
wanna
the
deal with
American
it.
government would have done if they really
That's
knew
what
about
I'm
it.
saying.
So I didn't bring it
The
down.
you're
You
right.
brought it
the
out.
national
You're right.
parks are so protected. Like,
Correct.
They're so protected.
That's
because
why
the
I don't believe
cannibals.
that. That's why I don't believe this exists.
That's why they can do what they can do.
I don't think
There's
so.
there is one specific area of one of the national parks that you could literally get away with murdering someone because its laws, like technically it's a felony, but like it's actual
There are lawless
jurisdiction.
towns, too.
Yeah, there are literally
I know.
sections in this country
write a
where
book.
you
I'm
can
not
get
denying
away
that.
with
We should write
shit.
a book
I'm
about
not
this.
denying that. What I think needs to happen, and I think the only way we're ever going to get past this and solve this, is we need to go and find out for ourselves.
All right, listen. I'm gonna
Let's
say
go.
this.
Let's go find a melon head.
I'm
No,
gonna say
let's
this
go
right
into the
now.
national park.
Hold on. Because
You wanna get
y'all
eaten?
y'all
Yeah.
did this to me, and I know where you're going. You're saying, well, let's just go to the national park. Maria's just gonna go camping. I know what you're doing.
I might have been easing into it.
Easing. Yeah, we dove. I am not going to Melonhead Land or Cannibal Land to camp.
That's fine. You can think that. But either way, we're going to do something where we probably camp in one of those spots.
Where are we going camping?
Maybe in a national park.
Why does it look like a body? Why does it look like a human face? I don't like it.
What?
Get rid
Because
of
it's
it.
real.
Get rid of it.
That's
He's
not
here.
real.
That looks
dude.
scary.
That's
here.
fucking bullshit.
That's
You're
like the
literally
fucking
talking
ring.
about like Sasquatch at this point.
Sasquatch is
Bigfoot
real,
is
bro.
real.
He's fucking real. All right.
I hate
Bigfoot
I hate
is
where this
real.
has gone. I think there's going to be
I'm with
people
you.
that write in and either call me a bigot and say, you know, you're dumb to not even believe. I am not denying. I just want to reiterate that I'm not denying that cannibals exist and live out there. I just think whatever Erica sends me is bullshit, and I,
mean,
fucking
look at
hate
Jeffrey
TikTok.
Dahmer.
I just hate the whole hundreds of people go missing in national parks, and it's
That
because they
could
all
be-
got eaten
that
by
could be
people.
exaggerated.
That's insane.
But one is already one too many.
I know it's probably not exaggerated, but I don't think all of them got eaten by people. I think they could have gotten eaten by anything.
I think they would have found the carcasses.
No, because the animals would have eaten
Mountain
them.
lions will drag you into their den, and like you can never know where their den
I saw a guy
is.
get chased by a mountain lion on TikTok once.
Oh, dude, that's scary.
You
They
sent it to
posted-
me.
No, yeah, that was on YouTube.
Yeah, you sent it to me.
But they're that story, the mountain bikers, they were mountain biking, and two mountain lions came out, and they were like starving because mountain lions don't usually just attack to attack. Like, I mean, if you're in their area, they'll follow you like they did with that guy. But if they're hungry, like they're not attacking you to eat you. Mountain lions don't want to eat people, but if they're hungry, they'll eat people. And they got these two mountain bikers, and one of them was able to fight him off, but the other one, it dragged the guy into the den and just ate him. Like, that can happen. Like, you know what I mean? It's not just grizzly bears.
Cannibals aren't a thing, apparently.
There are cannibals out there.
No, there are. I'm not going to deny that.
So we're going to keep going in circles or not? I'm not a cannibal.
Nobody said that.
You pointed at me.
There's no proof.
There's literally 3 cameras.
But if anyone's listening to that, there's no proof. Well, I mean, I don't know. Do we have anything else to say about cannibals before we wrap this up?
There's cannibals in national parks.
This book was fucking insane. I
liked this book. I like how it was written. It was for most of the beginning of the book. You don't even hear his name. You don't even read his name.
Yeah,
it's written as like he went there, he did this.
That was wild.
And it was hard for me to get into at first, but once I got into it, it's like
I didn't think he had a name. I didn't think they ever addressed it.
Only when someone addresses him that's not himself, that's when you hear his name or you read his name.
That threw me for a loop, but it was pretty interesting.
It was good though. It was a good book.
Are there any other books that you've read that are even remotely
that's
like
the thing.
this one?
I haven't read that many dystopians. Like, this is my first ever dystopian besides like Hunger Games.
Yeah.
But like this is my first one that's like actually gory and scary in a long time.
Yeah. So. Erica, how did you feel reading this? Because this is so out of your wheelhouse.
There's not a thing of small. Well, they did have sex.
It was not hot.
No, you should not say it was.
It was definitely disturbing on a lot of levels. I definitely I don't want to say I skimmed through a lot of it, but I definitely didn't read every word.
I
did not read every word.
So I put on audio.
It was definitely different. It was definitely different for you.
There was a lot of moments where I was like, what the fuck am I reading?
Yeah.
I like that though. That's my favorite part of it. It's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah. The only other book that I can even remotely compare it to is The Hike. Just from the level, like the shock value, but The Hike is so nothing like this.
The Hike sounds more fun.
Oh, it was fun. Yeah, The Hike is an adventure.
This is a nightmare come to life.
This is Gorn.
I'm sorry if like you came here for like a fun time for this book. I just wanted something different so Kristen can stop complaining about the romances.
And on that note, can you guys please give us some recommendations? Holy shit.
Your words today are not working.
It's warm in this room.
I just moved and I haven't slept.
I get it. You bought a house.
Dude, you have no idea what it's been like. Send us some recommendations on thrillers. We were talking about this.
We did. We got one. We're going to read it.
What is it?
The Silent Patient.
Oh. Send us some recommendations on something that's so asinine and absolutely
scary.
Fucking crazy.
Out of this world.
Yeah. Give us something that
craziest thing you've ever read.
This could be fun. Yeah, that's what they say. Craziest thing you've ever read, or something that you've read that you've never heard anybody else talk about that you want us to read. I think that would be really cool.
We had to say this also on stories too, because people tend to only hear our stories when we ask for recommendations.
Do we have podcast followers, or are we only cool on Instagram?
People like our podcast, but they talk to us on Insta.
We have probably 1,000 people that listen to our podcast.
That's so cool.
We love you, all 1,000 of you.
Hey, all 1,000 of you, are you following us on Instagram? If not, head on over to our Instagram. That's books_n_Betches, BETCHES, or which is even cooler in my opinion.
YouTube.
No offense. Go on over to our YouTube page because you can we can interact with you in the comments.
You can see all the facial reactions. You can see me crying from the laughter earlier.
Yeah. Head on to our YouTube. Just look up Books and Betches and you'll find us.
She yawns every time you talk.
I know. This is what it's like for me. We're also casting a third member of Books and Betches because I'm throwing Erica out of the podcast. Thanks so much for. I'm just kidding. You have to make the reels. Thanks so much for following and listening and being here, and we cannot wait to see you on the next one.
Bye.